Hey guys, welcome into today's video. I just got the new SurrealSkin foundation from Makeup by Mario. It just arrived today, so I thought we would do a try on and then a wear test. I'm gonna incorporate some other items that I just haven't tried yet that are fairly new to the market, and I'll throw them in as a bonus in today's video. But we are gonna put this on. I'm gonna do a wear test. I'm gonna go about the rest of my day, and then I'll come back and update you on how this foundation wears. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so I always like to read what this says. It says, SurrealSkin foundation is my complexion masterpiece. Okay, this is a quote from Mario. I put my heart into this groundbreaking formula with the hope of not creating a barrier of foundation, but rather awakening the true infinite beauty that lies within. With love and light, Mario. This one is made in the USA, has a 12-month shelf life, and it is 1 fluid ounce. Here's the packaging. It's just kind of black and sleek, but on the side, it has an open slot where you can actually see the shade. I'm thinking I probably got a shade that was too dark. This was interesting shade matching myself because everything looked too light, and I think that they described 5N, which is the shade that I have, as being light with neutral undertones. But if I kind of look at this opening, it kind of looks like it might be too dark. In the light, I can see like little shimmer particles in the foundation. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show that on camera, but let's take it out of the box and maybe we can see it a little bit better. Here is the glass component. It does have a pump on it, but yeah, I mean, even taking it out, I can definitely see like little shimmers, like micro glitters or micro shimmers in it. Let me see if I can get close enough that you can kind of see that. I don't know if that's going to translate on camera, but you can definitely see it in person. And I actually think this might be a pretty good shade because it doesn't look as dark when you get it out. Okay, I'm going to apply half the face with a sponge and then the other half with a brush. I didn't watch on his techniques for applying this, but it does say for Mario's exclusive techniques and tips, visit makeupbymario.com. I'm probably gonna skip that. But I know that this does come with a foundation brush, which I didn't pick up, and this also retails for $42, which isn't like the most expensive foundation that I have in my life. Here is one pump on the back of my hand. It's lightweight and it's running a little bit. It's not super thick, but it's also not super thin. I'm gonna take just that amount and I'm gonna apply it to the left side of my face, and then this side is the side that I'm gonna use with a sponge. I'm gonna start there. That's all I'm gonna do. I have this much left on my hand, and I'm just gonna bounce it in and see how much coverage that it gets. That is that amount applied to this side of the face. Here's nothing. Here it is. It's luminous. I can already see the luminosity, and it actually looks super natural and beautiful. This does claim to be breathable, luminous foundation, effortlessly builds and blends to illuminate the complexion with customizable long-wearing coverage. This does come in 30 different shades. Yeah, I don't see necessarily that it says that it's medium or light coverage, just that it's luminous and buildable and that it's long wearing, but it has such a beautiful luminosity. Like, I'm not mad at this. I am not mad at it at all. This is exactly the kind of foundation that I think that I would love to reach for, which is just kind of a light to medium coverage with luminosity that looks skin-like. I am gonna take like what's left on the back of my hand and just kind of dot it in a couple of places and see if I can't kind of build it up. I don't want too much more because I actually think this looks really natural and beautiful. And in case you were curious, this doesn't appear to have any scent to it, like not even a little bit. So I actually think that built up a little bit more, but it didn't take away or add to any of the luminosity, I don't think, and it doesn't look too heavy around my problem area, which is always my nose. It looks like it's sitting across my pores nicely. It just doesn't look overly heavy. And if this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, I should have started this off with, I am 38 years old. I definitely have some fine lines and I have super, super dry skin, but I live in Florida, which is a really humid climate. And so, yeah, I mean, like heavier weight foundations tend to slip off of my face. And I think that's all kind of due to the humidity. I just think this is beautiful. Like, I'm instantly not mad at this whatsoever. I'm going into the other side, and I'm actually just gonna dot it on and I'm gonna blend it out with the brush as opposed to like picking it up off the back of my hand. I'm gonna kind of do it this way. I'm just going in with a flat, like dense kabuki brush, seeing how much more coverage this gives and how the finish looks. I think it's okay with the brush. I have to say, like, it's probably a finish thing for me that I just kind of prefer it with the sponge. I don't usually apply my makeup with a brush. I think it was actually like a little bit, maybe more full coverage on this side applying it with a brush. And I feel like it maybe took away some of the luminosity. I don't know, maybe it's just not that different. I just don't think it sinks into the skin quite as much. And of course you get a little bit more coverage out of not soaking it up with the sponge. I'm just kind of patting over because I kind of felt like maybe it was a little bit too heavy, but it's just such a beautiful finish. Like, I'm not mad at this. This looks like my perfect kind of type of light to medium weight, light to medium coverage, little bit of luminosity, not too heavy or cakey of a formula, just kind of right in the middle kind of foundation that I love. So yeah, not mad at this at all so far. It does have a little bit of a tack to it. I did kind of prime my face a little bit, like I put moisturizer on, I had eye cream on, that sort of thing, but I didn't put any additional primer on. It has a little bit of a tack because this is kind of more of a radiant foundation. I'm gonna actually go in with my Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm literally just putting it under my eye. I'm not gonna spot conceal anywhere else. I'm also just gonna lightly kind of set my face. I did set like the middle part of my face kind of in my T-zone because that's where I tend to like get a lot of like breaking apart and slippage on a lot of foundation. So I want to make sure that I give it like a fair wear and that I'm kind of setting down some of my problem areas. I wish that like you could just see this like up close and in person and how actually nice this really looks. It's just, it really is really beautiful. And I'm almost convinced at this point that it feels like a foundation that could work even on like oily and dry skin because it's just right in the middle. It's not too much hydration, but it's not too little. I think I'm gonna become a huge fan of this. I don't know. Of course, we're gonna do the wear test. You guys are gonna be able to see how it ends up looking after, I don't know, I'm gonna at least try and do 5 hours. That's usually a good indication. I'm usually pretty rough on my face and I don't really care what's going on after I've applied my makeup. So after that time, I usually have a good idea how it lasts on dry skin. I'm gonna throw on my brows pretty quickly, and then I do want to try a couple of other products in this video. Okay, brows are on. I'm gonna use my Makeup by Mario bronzing stick. I have mine in the shade Light. It's actually been a minute since I've used this, and it's looking like the component of this is getting like a little bit stuck. I can't like get it past that point to turn it. Yeah, what is going on with my component? Look at this. Oh, it just snapped. Okay. Was that like a good sign or a bad sign? Okay. Oh, I did it. Yeah, okay. I just took some right off the side there. All right, I'm just gonna apply this. I do really like this bronzer stick. It's probably one of my favorite in my collection. I think it has kind of like a reddish undertone to it, which I keep saying in all my videos that I'm coming to find is like kind of what I like for my fair skin. I'm just finding that that's my personal preference, and I think this one has that. Yeah, this component is legitimately falling apart. Like, this brush just came off. Like, rolling it up and down is not working extremely well. I'm not gonna actually apply this to my forehead. I'm just gonna kind of dip my brush into it and apply it straight to my forehead this way. Okay, I'm gonna throw on blush. I'm gonna deviate from the Makeup by Mario scene here, but I wanna try this Dior Backstage Rosy Glow in 04 Coral. That's my favorite kind of blush, which is like a lot of oranges. And I picked up the Rosy Glow from Dior because the hype that it got, and I was like, well, I need to test this out. But I dislike pinks. I'm just not a, I don't know, I'm just not a pink blush kind of girl. And when I saw that they came out with this, I was like, well, yep, that's the one for me. There's the inside of it. Yeah, I didn't get the hype on the formulation from the other one. I definitely think like it was all right, but I have a lot of blushes in my collection, and I think maybe some of those a little better in formulation, but I'm gonna go for this one because this is my kind of shade. I'm gonna pick it up on a dense brush and oh, Okay, light hand people. Yeah, that's when you go with a dense brush and not a fluffy one, you get a lot off on this product. And yeah, a lot just came off. That was great. I like me a pigmented blush, but now I'm gonna diffuse some of that color because I'm just gonna look like a clown walking around. That is a really, really nice blush. Like, I can see why the pink one is really popular. We'll see how long it holds up in this wear test, because I'm a huge critic on blushes that don't last a long time. I kind of like my blush to stay all day. I don't have a Makeup by Mario highlighter, so I'm just going into the HAUS Labs one. This one is in Sunstone. And I know you guys probably didn't come here for this, but I haven't tried it yet, so I'm going to try this out just really quickly. But this is the Urban Decay Naked Palette. I actually picked this up probably on launch day, and it's been sitting in the box here ever since then, and I just haven't gotten around to playing with it. I just think it's a really beautiful packaging, and this is already on sale. But I thought I would just include this because I am trying new makeup. So here's the color story. I mean, I don't think it's a bad color story. I've just never been over the moon about Urban Decay shadows. I'm going to take this Mango Sun one, and then I'm going to deepen it up with Foxfire, and then I'm going to put Ion on the lid since I'm wearing a like yellow shirt. Like, that was pretty pigmented. I don't see a big issue with quality and pigmentation and blendability so far. Look, one little dab and it's really pigmented. Might come down to the shimmers here. I'm not going to do an overly complicated eye look. That's not the purpose of today's video, but I did want to test this out. And so, you know, bonus, in case you were wondering how this palette performed, now that it's an on sale item, I guess we're about to find out. I'm not dipping into the blues here, but I just don't have any issues with blending these shadows so far. I mentioned about 30 seconds ago that I haven't had the best luck with Urban Decay quality before, but I'm not getting that with this. I think it's actually quite nice. I'm gonna go into this shade right here that's called Exoplanet. It's a shimmer shade, and I'm gonna start in the middle of my eye. Nothing wrong with picking this shimmer up on just a dry, flat brush. I mean, it has to pick up on a brush because the pan sizes are too small and my finger's not getting in there on my little meat digits. Yeah, I'm not really seeing an issue with quality on this, not even in the slightest. And, you know, for the most part, I'm going for neutral looks on an everyday basis. And that's what this gives you. And if you wanted to dip into the blues, I mean, I have BH Cosmetics, Odin's Eye, Kaleidos, those ones, I feel like those are the palettes that I reach for when I think of blues. And Urban Decay usually does more neutral palettes. Like, that's just kind of their jam. And so this might be a bonus, and it might not be the most pigmented or best quality, and you do have 3 shimmers to 1 blue matte, and that's kind of disappointing. I am just going to throw on the Milani Anti-Gravity Mascara. I don't know, they sent me a free sample, so it's going on my eyes. Let me throw this on really quickly, and then I want to put on the Makeup by Mario. What did I get? The Moisture Plumping Lip Serum. I picked up a different shade because I've had the other ones in my collection for a long time, but I've never been able to get my hands on like a nude shade. So it's not the most pigmented formula in the entire world, but I mean, it's kind of nice. If you actually are curious about this mascara, it does have this like really kind of bendy wand. It's interesting. I got sent this because I tried the new Milani mascara, the highly rated one. I mean, they're both calling themselves highly rated, but this one's just the anti-gravity. I don't know. I think they're both like meh. They're okay. All right, so here is the MoistureGlow. I have mine in the shade Apricot Glow. This is perfect for what I've done today. There's the packaging, there's the color. If you guys haven't tried these, they're like the most intense moisture on your lips ever. And I really like them. The problem with this, I find, is that like I tend to just overdo it with this product because it's so comfy, but it fades off very quickly. It's not long-lasting moisture. And so I was constantly reapplying this. Well, that was the perfect color for the look that we created. You guys, it's getting later. The sun is starting to go down. It is 5:29 right now, but don't you worry, I'm going to be up for a while. We are definitely going to do at least a 5-hour wear test. So I've got everything on. I'm going to go about probably making dinner, eating dinner, doing the normal stuff, and I will probably be up a little bit late tonight, and I will check back in with you, and we'll do a final review of how this foundation wears. So far, minimal sinking into my fine lines, overall kind of glowy and beautiful. We shall see. I will check back with you in a couple of hours. Okay guys, we are back. It is a little after 10, so I have definitely had this foundation on for about 5 hours. Honestly, this is a fantastic foundation. It has come off of my nose, but I've had dinner. I've been rubbing my nose. I was sneezing a ton. I didn't touch anything up. It just still looks like it's broken down really well, and that's usually what I'm looking for, is like, how is it meshing with my dry skin? How is it handling me moving around and doing normal things? And so far, like, yeah, okay, so it's come off of my nose a little bit, but the way that it's coming off is that it's not breaking down strangely. It's just acting normally to the natural oils of my skin. And so I can definitely see the oils in my nose coming out, which is like what I'm looking for. Like, that's what I want it to do. I don't want it to break apart and start looking dry. I want it to mesh with the natural oils of my face and start looking like natural, like breaking down in a natural way. Because there's almost nothing you can do to save a super dry, like cakey foundation. It's almost like you have to take it off and start over again. But when it like starts to have the natural oils come out, what I can usually do for having dry skin is just touch it up. Like, I can touch up my nose with a little bit of powder or add a little bit of extra coverage without it looking cakey, and that's what this did. I am a huge fan of this foundation. Like, 5 hours is a good wear test. I mean, yeah, it's not a full 8 hours, but I could tell that this is a foundation that's just gonna mesh well with my type of skin. I give this foundation, honestly, 9.5 out of 10. This is like dry skin, Kari approved foundation that I'm gonna start loving using. I love the amount of coverage. I love the way that it meshed with my skin. I don't know. I'm absolutely in love with this foundation. This was a winner for me. I'm really glad that I picked it up. There are some times where I feel like I just buy the makeup to test it, and like, you know, I don't end up loving it, and I know that I've just wasted my money, but I feel like this is a good one. I'm gonna love it. It's probably gonna be another one for me that's kind of hard to put down, because having dry, finicky skin and the humidity, it's hard to find foundations that both mesh well with you and the climate. I've lived in much drier climates. I used to live in California, and I tell you, there are more foundations that work in that climate than do here in Florida. And so yeah, this has my full stamp of approval. You guys, if you have dry skin or a similar skin type as me, I think you would enjoy this. Now that I've had this foundation on, and now that I can tell like the natural oils of my skin are coming out, this might be a foundation that probably works better for somebody with dry skin as opposed to somebody with oily skin. Whereas conversely, I said earlier in the video that I think this would be something that could work for both skin types, but I do think this is probably meant for like normal dry skin, like just because of that luminosity that it has. So that's my take on it, you guys. I really do hope that this helped. I think that watching people who have similar skin types usually persuades me to a foundation and helps me to prevent wasting my money in a lot of cases. So I hope that that was the case for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are not a current subscriber to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing. I'd love for you to stick around. I hope you're having a wonderful December. I hope you have a happy new year, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.